Just when I thought the day couldn't hold any more sadness with Hazel, I spotted Amy, and I was utterly shocked. She was a depiction of a life teetering on the brink. In her fragile state, it seemed as if she was moments away from her last breath. She couldn't sit comfortably due to that gruesome wound on her bottom. A discernible area of flesh was left exposed to the air. Adjacent to it is a black stain, perhaps a sign of a severe hematoma where a massive pool of blood is breaking down, trapped beneath the skin. Even her sitting pads, the tough ischial callosities, were tinged with that same ominous black. Amy was in palpable distress, her head turned here and there as she sought a position that her sore body would not allow. Amy whimpered and made a deliberate gesture directed at her son, Rain. She raised her brows, a fundamental unspoken language in their world. Perhaps in this moment it was a request for contact. And he obeyed, promptly. Rain watched his mother closely, with an expression etched with deep concern. Perhaps we shared the same thought. Albeit a vicious wound, it may not be a fatal one. These are resilient creatures with sophisticated healing abilities, after all. Perhaps, in a week, this would just be another scar in her long life. The absence of Silas left a void that went far beyond sentiment. He was their protector. For 6 months after he was ousted, that protection was gone. Amy and her children were much more vulnerable. Reef, Amy's last daughter, was engulfed in a whirlwind of confusion as her shrieks a heartbreaking plea. Was she screaming for a milk bar that had permanently closed? Or was it the terrified sound of a daughter feeling her world collapse? I think it was the former. Perhaps Perhaps she could not fully comprehend the severity of the matter at hand. Her sole source of comfort and nourishment was no longer available to her. In her final moments, Amy's strength was spent and could no longer tend to her little girl. Tina and Trina are like the gentle nurses of the troop. They always tend to the injured members of the clan. Oh, sorry Trina, there was a fly on my camera. I didn't mean to scare you like that. I moved away from Amy to let the concerned members do their work. Tina left as soon as Amy caught Cass's attention. One by one, the members of the clan stopped by to check on her. They approached, sniffed the air gently, and offered a few grooming strokes. Everyone was concerned and invested in Amy's recovery. In situations like these, there is no one to turn to, but we only know who not to call. Her face was also etched with small cuts and scrapes. All of these wounds added up pointed to several grim conclusions. My mind was desperate for an explanation, and the catastrophic possibilities raced through my head. Was it a confrontation with one of the hill's other inhabitants, a wild boar perhaps? Could it be, as I initially suspected, an erratic assault inflicted by a rival troop or several higher-ranking members of her own clan? The evidence points toward the latter. The painful scratches marring her face, her feet, her tail, and her torso indicate a focused assault. This occurs when an individual is outnumbered, pinned, and attacked by a chaotic frenzy of teeth and claws from multiple attackers simultaneously. This female from the nullah was found dead in this exact scenario. She was caught on the wrong side of a border. As the troop on the left-hand side retreated, this female here failed to escape. She was momentarily isolated from her own clan. As the troop on the left-hand side retreated, this female here failed to escape. She was momentarily isolated from her own clan. To understand what happened to Amy, we must first realize that violence of this nature doesn't happen every day. These eruptions are complex, and we, as outsiders, will rarely know the exact catalyst. Whether it stemmed from a territorial conflict that had been brewing for weeks, or competition for a contested food source. The reason remains largely hidden in the intricate, unspoken language of the troop. It's also crucial to remember that, just like humans, our distant relatives possess distinct personalities. Some are bold and assertive, some are shy and timid. And before we hastily cast dismissive judgments on their behavior, labeling them as savage or evil, one must pause for a sobering reminder that we, as a species, are no better. Humans commit acts of violence for reasons just as complex and often far less instinctually driven. As spectators, we are privileged to witness fragments of a deeply complex society, but we will never fully see the whole picture and be 100% certain about its intricate operations. The most basic, and perhaps most crucial thing we can do is to observe, understand, and respect their nature. It is often said that a mother is the steadfast anchor of the family, the one who binds them into a cohesive, tight-knit unit, a figure they can rely on for anything. For Silas's family, this was Amy. But with their father Silas being ousted, and now with her own abrupt and tragic passing, their world has come untethered. They are now more scattered than ever. But Amy had left behind valuable lessons for her children. Her boys learned to maneuver through troop politics with keen caution, carrying her wisdom with them in their ability to avoid needless confrontations. Her daughters, too, bear their mother's deepest imprint. Now, they have become doting and attentive mothers themselves. Back then, when Rain refused to accept the closure of the milk bar and threw himself face down on the ground in a dramatic fit of despair, Mum Amy was patient. She offered a gentle, tactile comfort as she placed her hand on his trembling back, urging him to climb onto her back. She offered him comfort and love that was not in the form of milk.
Why?
He is no longer the tiny shadow who clung to Amy's back. He is now an independent young boy with a question mark hanging over his fate. Amy got to welcome her very first granddaughter, Lottie. And witnessed her blossom into a delightful yearling. Her granddaughter had a burst of uncontainable energy when she was a tiny tot. She always kept Mum River on her toes. But that energy was subdued as she began to understand the social etiquette and entrenched rules that she had to follow. But she never got to know Hawthorne, Rosie's first son. He arrived when the family had already lost its anchor. He will never know the amazing grandmother whose love shaped his mother. And so, the story turns. Hawthorne will continue to learn the lessons of resilience that were her final gift.